What's happening? What's happening, man? So, I remember like Young was like, Dirt, like you did 50, 11 years. Like, you got hella stories you ain't told. And he right. And that's because I just ain't at liberty to tell certain ones. But, coming through my mind and the evolution of shit and war stories and how they delivered and all that, yeah, there's more. There's like a whole nother layer of stories that I'm able to tell now. And, just and keep it 100, all the way 100. So this story right here, man, this is about extortion gone wrong. Extortion gone wrong. As a young motherfucker coming up in the system, man, look, I had the reputation of a rider. Like, I had the reputation of I'm gonna get off on you quick. And like, if you out of pocket, like, watch out for Dirt. Like, he might be coming to get you. So I had that. I'm not that. I'm like I said, I don't like to glorify it, but I got to tell this story. I gotta keep it 100 and give you a real live overview. I'm not the one that's gonna say I'm preaching a positive pot. I know. I'm just me, man. I'm me. But anyhow, so we in Salinas Valley. I ain't even gonna tell you what's yard. I gotta kind of jumble shit so I don't just be giving exact facts. But we on a various yard in Salinas Valley, and me and my relative was on this yard together. Right, we had been cellies like in 3 different times in 2 different buildings. And the last time that we had left, I mean that we separated, it was a J Cat that had came on the yard, man. This motherfucker was doing burpees in the middle of the basketball court. I'm talking about like this dude, he was a real live J Cat, but he was so kind of solid that didn't nobody want to try him. And he was saying he was from Sacramento. So it was like, damn, man, all these motherfuckers from Sacramento is looking at Sacramento like bad. And why when it came down to who had to remove him, the older homie from the hood, yeah, out of all the neighborhoods in Sacramento, the older homie from the hood was like, man, we gonna handle it. Didn't nobody ask you to handle that shit, but that nigga took it upon himself. So why did he appoint my cousin to get down with him? Man, so I'm mad as motherfucker. My cousin telling me I'm just shit. I gotta go, man. It's my time. Shit, I gotta put in some work. My cousin older than me. My cousin 10 years older than me. So this is not making sense. I got the reputation of a writer. I didn't already fight attempted murder in this motherfucker. So I'm not understanding. I feel like I didn't put in enough work for both of us. Like, big cousin, why you leaving me like this? So I went to work, and I was when the situation was supposed to go down on the yard. Man, I'm looking like a sad puppy looking out the window of the chow hall door onto the yard, knowing that my cousin and this nigga is about to get this solid motherfucker J Cat. Man, I'm knowing this, so I'm looking out the window like I'm sad. So I look out. First thing happened, the older homie took off. Bing. Why this nigga prone out? That's why I ain't said his name, because I ain't gonna put him out there. That nigga swung, foo, and proned out. Nigga, I don't even know if he connected with that J Cat. And he left my cousin hella skinny at that time, hella skinny. Left my cousin to fight for himself. All right, my bad. So my cousin, he left him to fight by himself. So my cousin sitting there, boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, bing, bing, boom, boom, trying to fight. Boom, bing, boom, bing, boom. And that nigga was so crazy that nigga when my cousin proned out on the ground, this nigga pointed on the ground and said, my candy right there. This nigga didn't even prone out, but this nigga, my cousin and the older homie proned out, this nigga talking about my candy. That nigga was crazy. But they took them niggas all to the hole. And what you know, one day that nigga came back to the yard. I was like, damn, why me? Because everybody's going to be looking like, dude, your cousin got on that nigga. Now it's your turn. You got to get on that nigga too. So that nigga, man, I'm telling you, that morning, That morning, my celly was mad at me. He was like, man, leave that nigga alone. But my celly got a roll with me, my celly beef. So I'm walking around the track going to get this motherfucker. He in the medical line. This nigga Beef is following me, pulling his pants up like, hold on, blood. Hold on, blood. Hold on. Hold on, blood. But because he gonna rock with me, but he don't want to, but he got no choice. Man, so Beef was on one side and I was on the other, and we was closing in on this nigga. And that nigga must have felt it. That nigga popped out the line like, boop. That nigga popped out the line, boop, and went straight to the police. And I was like, play over with now. Shit, that's a dead issue. That nigga was gone. We never seen that nigga again. So anyhow, my cousin goes back to the yard. When he goes back to the yard, but he doing this thing. Whatever he doing, he don't need me no more. He don't need a little crazy ass cousin. Now he holding his own right now. But the problem with holding your own is sometimes people think they can try you because they think they know you or something like that. So I'm not going to say the name of the organization that this dude is from, but I'm going to just say he's from a political organization. And because he part of that political organization, they probably think they a little bit slightly more important than the average motherfucker. So he pushed up on my cousin and talked and said some crazy shit and meet me out on the yard. I'm about to beat your ass. So my skinny ass cousin came out like, shit, all right. We're going to see what it does. And this is public record. Like, all that shit. My cousin went to court, all that shit. So this ain't not like no secret. So my cousin came out like, shit, what it is. That nigga said before he could even blink, my cousin cocked back and hit him in the jaw. Bing! Stabbed a hole in his shit. Bing! That nigga was like, oh, this nigga didn't hit me. But that nigga was leaking, right? Leaking. So that nigga, so that next thing you know, they let a yard down and shit. This nigga's jaw is broken too, and the same thing. This nigga's jaw is broken. So I'm trying to figure out, like, and like I said, I ain't saying no names, but I'm trying to figure out, like, damn, what the hell happened? But it didn't matter. He did what he did and put a hole in his jaw. So, but there was paperwork. There was paperwork that surfaced. And I had a copy of it. So now I'm fast forward. I'm in a level 3 now. I'm in a level 3 prison. I want Big Cousin to be able to come to the pen that I'm at. But this nigga's on the yard, right? This nigga's on the yard. And he kind of like doing his thing and shit. So I'm a young nigga. I mind you, this is like a lot of 18 years ago. But I'm a young nigga. So I'm looking like, oh, this nigga told on my cousin. And I got the paperwork. Come to find out, he got a little something. So one day, I'm like, on the night yard too, I thought I was smooth with it. I pushed up on him like, hey, yeah, man, I got that paperwork on you. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, that paperwork, but it's all good. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm gonna need you to look out for me or something. I'm gonna need some retribution or something. No, that nigga said, what? Remember, I'm a young nigga. This is an OG ass nigga. This nigga down there 40. Nigga, I just really insulted this nigga intelligence. I really just pushed up on this nigga and tried to extort him. I was like, nigga, you gonna have to look out for me, and I ain't gonna tell your people shit. But I'm thinking I got the big secret, and this nigga, and that I'm invincible because I got the paperwork on this nigga. Man, look at here. That nigga made a scene. Nigga, I was told that nigga back up. Nigga, you better not take a step closer. Nigga, we was on the yard, squared off. Like a nigga, you better not come closer. Nigga, I'm gonna tell. You better not come closer. It was one of them that the homies that was around didn't understand that what was going on. That I just tried to extort this motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But there's proper ways to do shit. But this nigga blew it up to where there was no choice. When you part of this organization and there's any type of altercation, your homies is about to hear about it at that yard recall. So when the next yard came and I came outside, there was a group waiting for me. Like about 8, 9 of the motherfuckers waiting for me. Like, nigga, it was a couple of homies that knew what time it was and they came out to the yard with me, but them niggas wanted answers. It was like, nigga, you got paperwork. Well, nigga, we're giving you an order to show cause. Guess what? Because we black and there's certain things in politics in place, you got to present that. So the paperwork that I had, where this motherfucker said who hit him and how and where, was I was forced to give it up. It was the medical report because that's who he said it to. He didn't say it to the police. He said it to the MTA because them motherfuckers, like after riots, they do a medical thing on you to see like if you hurt or not and if you want to give a statement. And sometimes motherfuckers be saying too much to the nurses and MTAs and shit. So therefore, that motherfucker, he said too much. And they was waiting for me too. I had to go back in and get the paperwork and give it to him. Did they do anything to that nigga? No. No. They ain't do nothing to that nigga. But my cousin still ended up coming to that pen with me later. But I'm just saying, sometimes you think you got paperwork, that shit gold, and that shit ain't nothing but fool's gold. These motherfuckers, I'm telling you. But I tried to extort that nigga, and that shit blew up in my face. I was like, oh shit, dirty,